it is hard enough to earn money, but if you don't watch out, it is much easier to lose everything that you have. And incredible stuff has been happening for some time, and that is your money is becoming worthless. The value of your money has been eroding, and you don't even realize, because we live in the moments. We sort of feel what happened yesterday, what happened last year, and we tend not to observe what happens over a period of time. Now, the governments around the world, for the last several years, for decades actually, have been printing money out of thin air. So, what you believe, what you have in your hand in the form of a currency note or in your bank, is actually paperware. It's been just magically created, and more you create, the lesser the value is. A good way to realize how severe the problem is to look at, is to compare the world from say 1971 to now. 1971 is when, around that time, the Bretton Woods system, the system in US used to peg US dollar to gold. Means US dollar was always mapped to certain gold value. You could go exchange the paper currency and get a certain amount of gold. And throughout human history, gold has been considered as an absolute store of value, which means, in very simple terms, and I'm oversimplifying it, if you have a piece of gold 50 years back, you could buy the same stuff then that you could buy say 20 years back, or you could buy today, or you would be able to buy 50 years hence. But the value of everything that we see around is changing. That's, everything is a lot more expensive. That's why, in terms of the currencies, which is a man-made construct, US dollar or whichever currency in your country, that value is decreasing, because the stuff that used to cost you $10 now costs you $200, which means that paper currency has reduced in value. Whereas if you had stored that wealth of yours, that money of yours in the form of gold, it would never have changed any value. Let me explain this with an example. A good way to understand what is the value of a currency is by looking at inflation. If you look at the CPI data, around 1971, the CPI was around 39.840. End of 2023, it's 10 times higher. Which means if you could buy something for $10 in 1971, you have to spend $100. So the value of the currency, if you had stored that US dollar note in a bag somewhere and took it out today, its value has become just 10%. Actually, the gold price itself has been manipulated, but its intrinsic structure is such that it's not very easy to. All those forces, the big sharks that want to take advantage of the current financial system, have tried hard and used different market mechanisms to keep the gold value lower than what it should be. So if you look at the example that I gave, CPI in US, 1971, end of 2023, 10 times increase, which means the value of paper currency has fallen 1/10. Since by definition, gold, the same unit of gold, should afford you to buy the same thing that you could buy yesterday, today, which means that same piece of gold should be able to afford you to buy something which is 10 times more expensive. Go by the example of the Bretton Woods system that I talked about, when US dollar was pegged to gold. Okay, around 1971, the gold value was around $44 an ounce. Now what happens is, when the system ended, while that was not a very smart thing to do in my opinion, what also happened is this artificial sort of value of gold that was sort of restricted because of a fixed mapping. This is just a mathematically fixed mapping that economists did. Gold got an opportunity to rediscover its value, and it ended up at around $780 by 1980. So if you go by the CPI value increasing by around 10 times in this time period, that's $700 per ounce value should today be effectively $7,000 an ounce. Where is it today? It is $2,500 an ounce. And that too also, the change has happened recently because market forces have finally realized that this manipulation, this crazy system cannot go long. And you've seen the last 5, 6, 7 months, a year, there has been incredible increase, and this is going to continue until gold finds its fair value. It is still much below. It seems like it has increased a lot, but it is still below its fair value. So 2 points I wanted to make. First, absolute essential till the world resets and figures out a new way to figure out what money is and how financial systems should be managed. Gold is your best bet to preserve the value. I'll just repeat it in simple terms. If you have this much money today, you can keep it in cash in your bank or in a box, and you come later and you figure out it's worth half its value because of inflation, because things are expensive. Or today, you convert that into gold, keep it in the same box, and later, when you go, you will be able to buy as much as you were able to buy today. So you can annul the effect of inflation. But today there is an even better opportunity because there is a significant difference between gold that should potentially be $4,000, $5,000 an ounce versus it being at $2,500 an ounce. There is a significant value opportunity for the fundamental value of your asset to also increase. So not only you are sort of using it for what you should be using it, actually store of value, but it is temporarily because of the disconnects and the wrong way pricing has been done. It is an asset that can give you above average growth returns, much better than many other sort of complex and high risky assets can. So seriously think about it. I've been thinking about it for last several years. More I think about it, more I'm getting convinced. And the whole purpose of this video is get you to think. It's your hard-earned money. Okay, you think you're investing in stock market and it is giving you good returns. That's great. You're preserving your value. You're sort of handling some effects of what inflation and loss of value will take place. But the way the financial system is headed, it may sound like an exaggerated system, but money as we know today is going to become worthless. It's going to become less and less worth. So it's more important than it was 10, 20, 30 years back to keep it in the form that it will preserve value. And gold could be your great friend. If you have thoughts about it, please comment, and I'll be glad to carry this conversation forward. Hopefully, this was a useful conversation. Thank you.